So if you've all seen that video, why aren't you members? Is that too expensive? Is $1 too much?
Speaking of cost, how much did that video cost to make?
We paid, well, we spent about 4,500 bucks, and then maybe a couple grand to license the song at the end. But again, I did that with a friend who was a director who I worked with in New York on some comedy stuff, and you know, it was like a favor to a friend type thing. I don't really think I paid her much. I think I maybe gave her 500 bucks, and everything else went to bear costumes and, you know, wagons and you know, other stuff, a machete.
Machete.
Yeah.
And as of now, about how many times has it been viewed?
I haven't checked recently. 8.5 million? It's pretty good. Thank you.
Do you have 8.5 million student buyers?
No.
That'd be a great conversion ratio
That
for
would be
anybody.
incredible. That would be incredible.
So what happens after you launch that video, and tell us the difference in the business immediately.
Yeah, well, it was actually a very terrifying time. So I started the business in my apartment after I met my friend's fiance's father at a cocktail party, who was able to help us get some, you know, some inexpensive razor inventory to test the concept. And you know, I put my life savings into the business, and I left my job and made a lot of personal sacrifices. I moved into a studio bungalow where the toilet was 5 steps from my bed. It was sanitary. I mean, it was a very nice bungalow. It was in Venice, and you know, in some backyard. So it wasn't a slum, but it was small, and it was downsized from what I had been living in. So I'd made a lot of sacrifices and took a lot of risk to do this because I believed in the power of brand, and I believed in our ability to solve this problem with great product and great marketing. And so I'd made a lot of sacrifices, and I had spent a year running the business, building the website, you know, finding a distribution center, going down to mom blog conferences in San Diego to tell these women, these discount bloggers about us in hopes that they would write about us. And you know, just really watching that needle go down on the bank account, and then finding, you know, an angel investor and convincing them that this was something worthwhile, and then rebuilding the site, because what we had, you know, there's an older, you know, cached version of the site that if anybody knows how to do that and you go back and look for it, you'll see that it does not look as pretty as the current one. So building a new site and networking to find great talent and wooing those people away from the jobs that they were in and saying, no, really, we're going to do this. We're going to sell razors on the internet, and it's going to be great. And you should leave what you're doing in your, you know, 6-figure job and come work for me. You know, the guy who lives in the slum. You know, I worked, and you know, I shot the video, and I used that video to help raise money. And you know, we build and you work and you sacrifice and you build all to this moment. You tee it up, and then it launches, and it goes like way better than you could ever possibly expect it to go. And you know, everybody's picking it up. Every blog you've ever heard of, every media site you've ever heard of is picking it. It was a slow news day, so you know, there were no shark attacks that day, so we benefited from that. But everybody picked it up, and everybody, you know, it was the right time of year. It was right before South by Southwest. Everybody was kind of thinking digital and entertainment and all the things that South by Southwest represents. I think South by started the next day, so everyone was just kind of in that mode. And then here we go and launch with some backing from some pretty big Silicon Valley investors and $1 million of seed funding in this video, which is funny, that solves a very big problem, that solves an important pain point. And you know, goes better than you ever expect that it would. And we launched the video at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, March 6th, 2012. And by 7:30, the site was down because it had crashed from so much traffic. And if you go back to the early comments in the early days of YouTube, you'll see some of those comments are, wow, what a great idea for a business. Someone should actually do this. Because you couldn't get on the site. And that was scary. That was, you know, you see this great pickup and you see this great response, and you know, you're thinking to yourself, holy shit, I just sacrificed everything and we're missing this moment. Like, no one can get on the website. Holy shit, this is crazy. And so that was a terrifying 24 hours. And then the site comes back up, we got it working, and you know, which goes to show you how kind of unprepared on the tech side we were for this. Then about 3 days later, we were sold out of all our inventory for like 2.5 months. And so, you know, I'm thinking to myself, and I can't really tell you the number of subscribers or any of that stuff, but suffice it to say that, you know, we had tens of thousands of members sign up in the first 3 days, and that sold us out of our first batch of inventory. And we were dark, meaning we were taking orders, but we were sold out. We couldn't deliver anything for 2.5 months. And that was terrifying, because you say to yourself, I made all these sacrifices. You know, I've always wanted to start a business. I've always been entrepreneurial, and this was the thing. This was it. This was everything. And then you think, holy shit, it might be gone just as fast as it got switched on. You know, and we were very fortunate that the web is very startup friendly, and people love the underdog, because the comments were very supportive. That when we told them, hey, thanks for your, and again, this is $6 we're talking about here for our middle tier package, so it's not a ton of money for most people. And so we were lucky that people were like, don't worry about it, congratulations, this is awesome, we're with you, stick with it, all of that stuff. And you know, while we never will know what the full upside of those first 2.5 months would have been, we weathered the storm pretty well, I think, and we're still here, we're still alive, which anybody who's started a business can tell you. Sometimes just surviving is a huge fucking accomplishment. And you know, the last year has been incredible and terrifying, and you know, we are still very much in freaky startup town. We are a little bit more stable than we were at the beginning. Well, a lot more stable than we were at the beginning. But you know, with a startup, you know, we're doing really well. But with a startup, anything can happen at any moment, and it's your job as the startup founder or CEO, whatever role of leadership you have, to just anticipate every scenario as best you can and try to plan for it. So the last year's been amazing, you know, and hopefully this year's going to be a lot better.